What's up, guys? Coach Vassar, thank you for joining me with OTF Audio Daily Beats. As always, if you're new, appreciate you listening to me ramble about these workouts. If you find value in them, information is in the description to support me. If you have any feedback, any recommendations, let me know. We're talking about Tuesday, August 5th. This is also going to repeat on Thursday, the 21st. It's an ESP 30-30 day. That's always what's about the 2G, talk about the 3G, and then wrap it on up. So on the 2G, we're going to train heart rate recovery today on the treads. 3 blocks. Each block gets harder from a push to a push with incline to a push all out. But your goal is the same. Bring your heart rate back down during the recovery. On the rower, every block starts with a 250-meter push row. The tempo shifts each round. Standard, slow, explosive. So you could train endurance, strength, power. For the floor, 3 blocks, each with a different focus as well. Upper body endurance, lower body strength, and then total body power. You will need the BOSUs out today, so just be aware of that. So if you are cramped for space, you might need to put those benches up. So looking at the tread side, we're going to see a 6.5 minute block for blocks 1, 2, and 3 with a 90-second transition time between each block. Everything is set up the same, where you're going to have 2 rounds of a push-based combo, and then a third work effort leads you into the walk recovery to finish out the block. So 90-second push, 1 minute base, 90 push, 1 minute base, 90 push, walk recovery. All right, now in block 1, the goal is to maintain the push and the base intensities. Starting off with that 90-second push, power walkers 6% or greater, joggers and runners 1 to 2 of their base speed, bikes and striders go about 3 gears over their base. We want to see their heart rate trend upward, maybe flutter into that orange, and then during that 1 minute base, we want it to see trend downward. Maybe get back to the green, at the very least a few beats per minute lower. Okay. On paper, very simple block, but for the first group of people, we should see that heart rate recovery way more than the second group who are fatigued. The second group, it might only change a few beats per minute, whereas in the first group, you might see bigger percentage changes within the recovery. Now, in block 2, this is where it's going to change up a little bit. They're going to take their push from block 1, and they're going to slap on an extra 2% to the incline. So power walkers, they're going to be at 8% or greater. Hopefully they maintain their speed if they did increase it from block 1. Joggers and runners, whatever their push was, could they maintain it at a 3% incline? For the bikes and striders, they don't have a specific call out for them in the daily beat, but I would recommend for them to try to add 1 gear and maintain their RPMs. So if they were at 3 gears in block 1, could they do 4 gears in block 2? The key difference in block 2, though, is members could adjust their base to make sure they could recover during that 1 minute base. So keep in mind, if they maintain their speeds, but they add a 3% incline, that's equivalent to like add in, 0.2 to 0.4 on their speed. So dropping the base by about that amount will probably be very, very, very helpful. Okay. That way we can make sure it widens the gap and they do see that heart rate trend downward, because obviously that incline is going to get it to spike higher, which means it's going to be harder to recover because it's more work. The final block, this is going to be the tough one, but the good news is the recovery is the best recovery. So they're going to see a 90-second push all out, followed by a 1 minute walk recovery. They'll have 3 rounds of that. The final round, they're going to increase the intensity during the final 30 seconds. So whatever their push was from blocks 1 and 2, if they could add another like 0.1 to 0.5 or so, that's going to take them into that push all out feeling where it starts uncomfortable, but finishes at a very uncomfortable feeling. Then they have a full 1 minute walk recovery. We should definitely see heart rates drop, hopefully drop the most where it gets to like low green, or even better, get to blue. Okay. And then on the third round, they'll hit a 90-second push all out. But of course, at that 1 minute mark, bump up that speed even more to make sure it truly feels very uncomfortable. You don't have to call out for them to go to an all out, but add something to increase the intensity. Bikes and striders, they're probably going to do 4 or 5 gears over their base for that push all out. And then on the walk recovery, of course, drop it 5 gears or less and very minimal RPMs. And then during the increase on the intensity, similar to the workout prior where the surges were trying to increase RPMs. You could have the bikes and striders increase RPMs or maybe potentially go to a true all-out gear. So if they're at 5, let's go 6 gears over base. Now when we look at the weight floor, we're going to see 3 blocks set up the same way with a row, 1 time only, and then 2 movements. Now in block 1, it's a 250-meter push row at a standard tempo. 1 count back, 2 counts forward. Most people will probably fall into a range of about 24 to 28 strokes per minute. Okay? There's no specific stroke rate range called out, but if they have good tempo, it's probably where they're going to fall. With the first group, hopefully it gets them at least into like a mid-range green. The second group after the treads and they hit that push row, hopefully heart rate response is better. They're hitting green, maybe even tapping into the orange once they finish the row. For the remainder of the block, which will give them probably about 4.5 to 5 minutes, they're going to see 2 movements done back to back and then rest. You will use the BOSU for a higher rep count, so definitely use lighter weight to focus on stability. You're going to see a front foot elevated split stance contralateral single arm low row. So dumbbells in the right hand, left foot is on the BOSU. Right leg is behind them. Weight is on that front leg as they hit that 1 arm low row. Okay, because they have their body weight shifted onto that front foot, their front leg is going to be all over the place, but it's an opportunity for them to work on strengthening the tendons, ligaments, and muscles in and surrounding the ankle joint. They'll do 10 on one arm, 10 on the other. Try to enforce a rotation so that the shoulders and the hips are like headlights and they all point the same direction, downward towards the floor. Okay, that's then going to pair up with the bridge hold dumbbell pullover. They're going to have shoulders on the BOSU. They'll bridge up with the feet on the ground, arms extended, reach out, and then bring it back up. Great option for that movement, of course, they could do from the floor or a strap Y raise. Okay, keep in mind both of these movements hit like back and lats. So because you are superset in the same muscle group, they may have to go substantially lighter or take longer recovery every round. Block 2, strength block. It's a 250-meter push row at a slow tempo. The key thing here, it's 1 count back, 3 counts forward. Once again, there's no specific stroke rate range, but if they do it right, they'll probably fall into a 18 to 22-ish stroke rate. Hopefully what we want to see is their average watts higher than the push row because they're doing more leg drive, but it may take them longer to finish the row because there's more patience on that return forward, and that's okay. The work and rest is all about strength, so we'll get rid of the BOSU for the time being. We're going to see a 2-handed single dumbbell alternating lateral shift. So like the 2 single dumbbell deadlift, the weight is going to be down below with the arms extended, feet wide. They'll shift to one leg, come back up, and then the other side, 10 total reps. That's paired up with the goblet alternating forward lunge with torso rotation. So they'll step forward, whichever leg's in front, that's the side they rotate. They'll step back, and then the other side. Take it to a reverse lunge as an option. Or if you have the space available and lunges are just not happening for someone's knees, have them do step ups if you have the space though. And then the third block, we're going to see power, 250-meter push row, explosive tempo. So 1 count back, 1 count forward. We'll probably see 28 to 32 strokes per minute for that. After that, they are done with the rower. They could wipe it down, and then they're back to the BOSU. And this one is going to be a little bit awkward because we are going to flip the BOSU for each movement. The first one, flat side down, bouncy side up. You're going to be doing a kneel and hip thrust with low to high chop. So they'll start with the toes tucked on the floor, knees are on the BOSU, kind of sitting down on their heels with a dumbbell by the hip. As they open up the hips and sit up tall, recruit the glutes, and then rotate up quick, and then slow as they sit back down. So as they come up and come forward, quick, and then back down slow, 6 on one, and then the other side. The rest recovery is also an opportunity for them to flip the BOSU around because on the next one, they're going to do hands-on explosive tempo push-up. So hands on the BOSU, feet on the ground, do it from their knees as an option. But from that top position, elbows track back, 1, 2, maybe 3, pause, and then quickly press up. Of course, that quick explosiveness, they're going to feel that BOSU shake and quiver, which is one of the highlights of that equipment, so they can really focus on the stability of the shoulders. The finisher is a standard tempo BOSU push-up with the hands on. When we look at the 3G, we're going to see one long block on the treads, on the rowers, and the weight floor has 3 blocks for that ESP situation. On the tread side, we're going to see a total of 3 parts broken into it. Part 1 is endurance. You'll see a 90-second push, 1-minute base for 2 rounds. And then they're going to repeat those, but with incline. 90 push at 3%, 1-minute base. Just like in the 2G, maintain the push and base in part 1. Maintain the push intensity at an incline, lower the base during part 2 for strength. And then for the part 3, after that 1-minute base, they go right into a 90-second push all out, and then take a 1-minute walk recovery finally. Okay, so you're going to see 11 and a half minutes of work before they get a 1-minute walk recovery. And then they finish at the 12.5-minute mark for a 90-second push all out to hit 14 minutes. And of course, just like in the 2G, that last push all out during the final 30 seconds, add to the intensity. For the rower, we're going to see a long circuit style situation. They'll start with a 300-meter push row, and then they're going to hit a squat to upward rotation. The next round, it's going to be the 300-meter push row at a slower tempo, and then the third round will be with an explosive tempo. So the first 300 meters, we're trying to focus on 1 count back, 2 counts forward. On the next row, 1 count back, 3 counts forward. On the third row, 1 count back, 1 count forward. And it's always squat to upward rotation, 5 one side, 5 on the other. If you were to write it on the whiteboard, you could write the different tempos or give them a stroke rate range. So once again, the first one, standard tempo, 24 to 28. Strength one, the slow tempo, 18-22. Explosive, 28 to 32. That'd be one way for people just to naturally get to those tempos. And if you have the space and there's a rower next to them that's open, sit down with them and help them work on that tempo. Now the weight floor, 3 blocks, 4 minutes each, 1 minute to set them up because you are doing that during those 1-minute base efforts on the treads. Endurance in block 1, it's the same 2 movements from the 2G. So low row, pull over. Block 2, lateral shift, and then forward lunge with rotation, rest in between, and then block 3, hip thrust, low to high chop, paired up with the BOSU push-up. Because there's very short recoveries, definitely be aware of how to cue and set these up well. So that way you can really give them the information that's going to be helpful without running over time on that 1-minute base. Ta-da! Super fun. That's it. Any feedback, let me know. Otherwise, coach it down.